second game, but Canada will only dress 6 defensemen. Normally the Canadians, or any team, can dress 7. And they've elected to go with an 18-skater lineup tonight. Dunn and Carrier together, Chabot with Hicketts, and LeBlanc with Wow. Interesting here, the starting lineup for Canada. On left wing, you've got Dylan Strome, and on the right wing, you've got Mitch Marner. So Strome, a center, is playing the left side, and the center on this line is Mitchell Stevens of Saginaw of the Ontario Hockey League. Strome and Marner have had great chemistry playing together at the end.
Here, pretty impressive for 17-year-old players.
DeBoral taken down by Marner, and as he does that, the first penalty of the game. One shot on goal for the Czechs on that power. 5 returnees. You've got to think that Connor McDavid will not be back. Sam Bennett, who was not available last year either, was almost certain to be here in Calgary playing for the Flames.
Yeah, based on what he did last year in the Stanley Cup playoffs for the Flames, it would be very surprising if he doesn't build on that at the NHL level.
Although, in the late stages before the selection camp last year, Canada got a boost from the Ottawa Senators, who loaned Curtis Lazar, and the New York Rangers gave them Anthony Duclair. Matthew Barzal drops it off for Michael Del Col. That shot drifts wide and brought back quickly the other way by the Czechs. Across the line is Ingrid Abdul. And drop for Perotka with his shot. That's kicked away by Blackwood. In behind the goal is Thomas Chabot, St. John of the Quebec Major Junior League. He's an Ottawa first-round pick in the most recent candidates to make Team Canada. Lawson Krause did it last year.
And I think based on what Lawson Krause not only did to get invited to the camp, but then becoming a figure and a real strong player for Team Canada in the gold medal victory, all those players have reason to believe that if they can play and show that they can contribute, that they could very well be invited to the selection camp in December. And Dave Lowry's going to be there watching the first 3 that will have a similar opportunity.
Kodala comes in across the line, and the centering pass for Perotka was knocked away. Klapek, who had the only Czech goal against Canada on Tuesday night, fans on that. And here's Marner with it. Mitch Marner winds his way through center ice, dances around a couple of Czechs, now jumps in across the line. In comes Marner, can't quite get a shot away, but center. The teams had to be separated by the officials.
Well, and the 2 childhood friends, longtime friends, Krause and Konechny back-to-back on Hyrulan, letting them know unacceptable. I had a lot of questions on that today. What happened? What was going on?
There was an incident.
Think of certain things. I mean, there's fights and, hits from behind or whatnot, but spitting, it's just so disgusting.
There's no visual evidence of it, by the way. No. There's Nick Merkley with it. Merkley was drafted in the first round by Arizona with the last pick of the opening round, the one they acquired from Chicago in the deal for Antoine Vermette. And a penalty coming up now against the Czechs, who finally touch up. And so with 11:28 to go in the first period, Canada will get its first power play of the hockey. Through 2 National Hockey League drafts unpicked.
Especially when you see how good they are at the National Hockey League level.
Now Chabot shoots. And Obey Kubel trying to reach it up for Canada. Played away from him, and Miklish in the tournament.
And, with the injuries to Brendan Perlini, and then who never even got into a game, and then Jared McCann right early in the first game, it opened up some of those opportunities for a few of those players.
Whenever I come to this camp, and it's been many, many years now, my favorite one was in Ottawa in 2008. 44 players in camp, as Spotcheck gets that away. The 44th rated player in the camp was awful. He had a terrible summer. They changed coaches that year. Benoit Groulx took a pro job. And so Pat Quinn took over. Pat Quinn had that player at the under-18s. Did a great start to the year and made the team. Jordan Eberle turned out to be a very important player for Canada in that World Junior. Yes, but he was awful in the summer camp.
And they won gold in Kazan under Pat Quinn at the under-18 that year. And, you think about Jordan
at various levels.
And they're everywhere. Play hard on you, and Braden's comfortable with it. Rarely do I see him in a vulnerable position.
Last year, Aaron Ekblad got knocked out in a game against the Czechs. And Robbie Fabry was injured in knee-on-knee collision, which gave the St. Louis Blues some cause for concern. Of course, Fabry was injured during the tournament last year, couldn't play in the gold medal game for Canada. Here's Chabot with it, little head of steam for Thomas Chabot, plays it back at the point for Hickett. Beauvillier. Anthony Beauvillier takes a bump, lost the puck, and quickly away for the Czechs is Philip Pirokta. Takes a return pass, posts up, and plays it ahead for David Cache, a 5th round pick in 2015, and the Flyers have high hopes for
the opportunities. But the year that Canada, the 1995 group went, they won gold. In the gold medal game, Anthony Duclair never played a shot. Todd Gill, he went down to, they had 13 forwards, they had 4 lines. And Anthony, but you know, how he carried himself at that tournament in that type of setting with, you know, that matters too. You know, it's sometimes, you know, showing that you can be really important to the team and do the things for the team when it's not going your way are a big part of the consideration as well.
Mitchell Stevens lost the puck in the corner. Now retreating is Chabot. As Andres brings it ahead for the Czechs. Thomas Andres, who plays for Slavia Prague, a proud program in the Czech League that was relegated last year. And a long shot in front of Blackwood, deflects just wide. Fired in by Chabot. 2.5 to go here in the first period. 11-8 the shots on goal for Canada. Czech Republic has not won a medal in the last 10 World Juniors. They have finished 5th, 6th, or 7th in every tournament.
And yet they feel like they're making some kind of progress. There was some dark times there for them after they had won back-to-back World Junior golds at the beginning of this century.
Braden Point drops it back, and the shot taken there by Merkley, knocked away by Vejmelka. Slava Leonard, longtime Czech national team head coach,
is considered.
The NHL has not made an announcement, and most believe, and Tom Rennie told us the other night, he doesn't believe the NHL will make the announcement until after the 2016 World Cup. What does your gut tell you?
My gut, I don't know if it's my gut. I just think about how good the Olympics have been with the best on best. And I think it's not only made the hockey exciting, it's brought an FC NHL players there.
And the players overwhelmingly want to go.
Absolutely.
I've not encountered a National Hockey League player yet who said he doesn't think the players should go.
Nor have I.
I've encountered a few owners, on the other hand,
yes,
who feel very strongly they shouldn't go. So time winds down here. The Washington Capitals prospect.
We're talking about 3 high-end players.
Czechs lost the quarters in last year's World Junior, and it was a bitter defeat, 1-0 to the Slovaks. As Delcol comes in and shoots, and the save is made by Vejmelka.
Michael Delcol showing off his hands. It's one thing to have good hands when you're stationary, but on the move there, Michael Delcol positioning himself and maneuvering the puck into a real favorable shooting position.
DeBoro centers it, but that's picked off for the moment by Gauthier. So Delcol had quite a year last year. He's cut
later, and I think Michael Delcol is right on track in terms of his development.
Had a huge year for Oshawa, scored 42 goals in 56 games, and tied for their team lead in goal scoring in the postseason as well. Skotka had that clearing attempt knocked down by Watson. Matthew Barzal after it. Here's Barzal. Centers for Beauvillier. Anthony Beauvillier plays for Shawinigan in the Quebec League. Hard after it in the corner. A number of these players have been very busy the last month or so. Drafted players have been at prospect camps for their various National Hockey League teams. Some will report directly to their NHL rookie camps. Others will go to junior camp first. Beauvillier shoots a long shot through traffic. And Vejmelka, and head coach of the Brandon Wheat Kings in the Western League. A pretty good Russian player from Ivan Provorov, who's a first-round pick of the Philadelphia Flyers.
So good in all aspects of the game.
Pass for Fabric just missed the wide open net as Del Cole teed it up for him, and now Del Cole races back to pick it up. Cross he goes to Chabot. There's Chabot. Works it back down low, trying to find Gauthier with it. And back at the line, Del Cole, the first man there for Canada. Gauthier busting in, leaves it there for Fabry. Robbie Fabry. Centers for Del Cole. That's broken up by Lucas Jacek. Jacek, the Vancouver 6th round pick in 2015. And a long shot away. The rebound loose in front, and Jacek digging for it again. Jacek drops it off for Daniel Bozmuk, and Bozmuk put that wide. Chabot plays it around. Long time between whistles. The folks at the hotel across the street where Team Canada and we are housed said that in the 7 days that the players are here, they cooked over 1,000 eggs. Jacek. Long shot turned away by Blackwood.
I can't do the math.
This Stroh with a chance that goes off a skate wide. Again, there's Marner, never out of it. Marner has it back. Goes to the point. Picked up by Kubel. Chabot back to Hickey with a drive that was tipped wide by Marner. Might have been a high stick and was. Couple chances for Merkley there. Now Chabot brings it in. Drops it back to Merkley, but Abdul takes it away from him, and Abdul falls in the puck, but doesn't leave the zone. Tipped in by Nicholas Kubel. His parents are here watching him play this week. A number of the parents have made the trip to this summer evaluation camp. Goes into it. Works in there on Hicketts. Joe Hicketts will go back to play for Dave Lowry and Victoria in the Western League this year. It can be an awkward situation for the national junior head coach and even assistants when a player from their club team has to be cut. So Lowry right now wouldn't have that problem. Now a long lead pass for Point. Great point busting in the backhand shot, scores! A long lead feed trying to find Ordos. He was in behind the Canadian defense, but Joe Hicketts reached back and took it away.
Yeah, Joe Hicketts quickly, and there it is again.
Hicketts again. Lead feed goes ahead to Strome. Throws it down to Stevens. He drops it back. In comes Marner, and Kodala got a stick on him.
Travis Sanheim was the leading defenseman scorer in the Western Hockey League last year. But if Joe Hicketts had played the whole year, he would have been.
In comes Marner. Drops it off for Strome. Dylan Strome, the Arizona 3rd overall pick, drops it back, and here's Marner with it. Feeds Stevens. Back for Strome. That pass misfired. Lapka has it back for the Czechs. Lapka buys some time. His centering pass deflected away by Hicketts. There's that quick stick again. Spinorama at center ice. And a feed ahead to Marner.
He's been pretty good. And just quickly, like Joe Hicketts, when he left for the World Junior, he didn't get a full schedule in the Western Hockey League. So that's what hindered him from being the leading defenseman scorer in the Western Hockey League last year.
Now Marner back with it. Patience, waits, centers. Kubel works in, doesn't get a shot away. The other factor in that, Craig, that isn't discussed as much is you miss time for the World Junior, but when you get back, you are completely worn out.
You are. And it's
so the next month, you're not the player you were when you left.
Absolutely. I mean, the high of the World Junior is unbelievable.
And Watson couldn't corral it. Under 4 to go here in the second period. Hlapik get across the line. Sharp angle shot that's knocked away by Montembeault.
So it's not just the intensity of the World Junior Tournament, where you're playing it, the time zones you go through, the sleep.
Think about the 12 months of a player's draft year. So you go to a training camp in the summer, either here or for the Hlinka tournament. You play in the Hlinka tournament. Then you go back to your junior team. You might go to the Canadian Junior Selection Camp or whatever team you play for. If you go to the World Junior or not, you play a full year, then you go to the Prospects game. Your season ends, you either go to the under-18 summer, spring tournament, or you're in the playoffs. Then there's the combine, all the interviews. Then you get drafted. Then there's prospect camp. Then there's this camp. It never ends.
It doesn't. as you just pointed out, it's a full-on 12 months. What always impresses me about the player.
Higgins, his backdoor passer just in behind Stevens. That
Really,
slap pass he makes. You hate to say it, but I mean,
if you mature physically, you now have an opportunity to advance your game further to the National League level. And Joe Higgins qualifies.
Jakob Zboril plays for St. John. And the Quebec League moves it ahead. That shot fired wide by Zenovic. Zboril was in the middle of a controversy last year. He played in the under-18 spring tournament, the IHF tournament. He was suspended in the Quebec League. The Czechs said they were unaware of it. It's quite possible they didn't know. So he played the first game and then had to be pulled out of the Czech lineup against Prince George in another.
He said, I was talking to him about 2 weeks ago, we were having lunch, and he was talking about everybody comes to Victoria and plays 2 games. And he says he'd like to see that change. He says, you might surprise in the first game, but you can't surprise in the second game.
Lapik spins and shoots. He wired that high and wide. Lapik's been the best Czech player in this event so far. And a quick shot turned away, and Ordos in front, missed on the rebound. Mention that Lapik plays for Charlottetown in the Quebec League, is a second-round pick of Ottawa. Had 33 goals in 64 games last year in the Quebec League, his first year in that league.
He reminds me a lot of Adam Henrique in terms of his style of game. You know, he's good with the puck, a good thinker, not a whole lot of flash, but understands how to contribute in a lot of different areas of the game. He was a solid player last year. Gordy Dwyer, who's no longer the coach there, has gone over to the KHL, is going to coach in Zagreb in Croatia. Thought he did a real good job with a young group of players in Charlottetown.
Bill Cole flips that back into the corner. The shots are 28-16 Canada, a 3-0 lead. Canada won the first meeting against the Czechs 7-1. Abdul took a whack there from Gauthier and across the line. Fires that high and wide, and off the inboards it goes. Montembeault clears that away. Chernak shot, knocked down in front. Chernak gets it back, shoots, and a quick reflex save by Montembeault there. Higgins works back. We'll keep an eye on Jeremy Waugh to see if he returns for Canada after being shaken up earlier. And that puck bounced strangely off the inboards, and Montembeault had to be quick with that. Centers it, trying to find Marner. Now back at the point is Chabot. On the line, feeds it back in the corner. You got Strome and Marner back out there together. Now wait to join is Stevens off the bench. And back up to center ice. This is Higgins with it. Joe Higgins will go to Traverse City, Michigan, to the Detroit Red Wings prospect rookie tournament.
For the second time this summer, he was there for their development camp.
Yep. Now a centering pass for Stevens. Couldn't get the puck to sit for him. And it's scooped up by Perocta. In comes Marner. Slides it ahead for Strome. What a pass. Strome shoots, scores! Strome from Marner. Assists in 72 games for Kelowna, which went to the Memorial Cup. I mentioned the first-round pick of Arizona with the pick that they got from Chicago in the Antoine Vermette deal.
And interestingly enough, Antoine Vermette re-signed with Arizona.
Yeah, so that was
as did Zbynek Mahalik,
yeah,
who got traded at the deadline to the St. Louis Blues. So Vermette returns with a Stanley Cup.
By the way, I think that should be against the rules.
Not going to, like, after you trade a player?
I think if you trade a player at the trade deadline,
can't go back the next year.
Can't come back to you for a calendar year.
Well, they did that here, and I think that's to be expected, but he has all the makings of being a top 10 pick in the 2016 draft.
He is, in the scouting parlance, a late birthday, and people wonder what that is. If you're born after September 15th, you have to wait for the next year to be drafted. So this year's upcoming draft is for players born in 1998, but players born after September 15th, 98, have to wait for the 2017 draft.
Like Austin Matthews, who was born on September 17th.
Yeah, misses by two days.
And Nolan Patrick, who's a 98 born, he's born on September 19th.
Berkeley drops it back. And the question is, sometimes do late birth dates get over-processed or over-hyped because they're older players. Because they're too much, they've got enough stock taking the fact that they are older than other players in their draft year. It was a long time when almost all the top players were born in the first 3 months of the year. In Europe, in a lot of countries, especially Eastern European countries, it's September, October, November because they go by the school year. Right? So the oldest players are September birthdays. Barzal had it knocked away, and back to pick it up is Chabot.
He's unique too. Joseph Valeno, who just got exceptional status and was the first overall pick by the St. John Sea Dogs, played midget hockey as a 14-year-old player and was very good for the Lac St. Louis Lions.
In comes Marner, pulls it around, can't get a shot away.
But Jeremy Waugh, he played as 14 in the midget league. And was
Chabot with a shot tipped in by Strome with
pretty good effort all the way through this four-day junior showcase. Chabot with his head up, hits the Czech player's stick as it goes off the stick of Thomas Chabot and then off the knee of Dylan Strome. So for the game and enthusiasm for the game, and certainly when you have success and you have good teams, it just builds on that.
You can tell I'm kind of excited for the prospect of a Florida World Junior.
You're almost thinking about what type of tropical wear.
Yeah, I'm making a mistake here. To break into your closet and get some bright colors out.
Don't worry, this tie might still be available.
Take it from the drive, he pounds it wide. It hasn't blown up by then. Now brought up by Catola. He winds in, waits and shoots. The stop is made by Monkstonbo, and the rebound scooped up by Chabot. Barzal. Wide he goes. His point comes winding in. Braden Point drops it back to LeBlanc, winds and shoots, and that's gloved by Vejmelka.